The Still Loading podcast is brought to you by the wonderful people on Patreon. Amazing people like Ryan K, Stephen P, Gilmer, Matt aka Stormageddon, Kevin from the Bit by Bit Foundation, and Mr. Biscuits have all been wonderful enough to support the show over there. So if you would also like to get your name read at the beginning of an episode, along with a bunch of other goodies, go over to patreon.com/stillloadingpod and check out everything it has to offer. On this episode of Still Loading...
Mario, forget about it. There's something very strange about this guy. What's so strange about sleeping in your clothes?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the Still Loading podcast. I'm your host, Josh Koval, and today's episode, it's another episode of the Mario Super Show, as Pat the NES Punk would say for his Super Show episodes of the CU podcast. That's a very specific reference that only people who listen to the CU podcast are going to get. But whenever Pat does a Super Show, he goes, Super Show. Anyway, I'm here with my co-host with the mo-host who decided to not laugh at that bad joke, Dexter Morrill.
Country. No.
There you go.
It's me. No, just kidding.
What's up, Dex?
Hey, everybody. I'm excited to be here. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to come in on that. That's why I was trying not to laugh.
No,
it was hard not to laugh. But...
You're allowed to laugh.
All right.
You gotta laugh. That's another reference to a very obscure clip from Comedy Bang Bang, which is that's going to take way too much time to explain, so I'm just not going to. You gotta laugh, though. So anyway, welcome to a new episode. We're here to talk about the Super Mario Brothers Super Show Episode 7, which the live-action segment of this episode is called Bats in the Basement, and the animated segment of this episode is called Mario and the Beanstalk. It was written by George Atkins. It was directed by Dan Reba, and it originally aired all the way back in the far-off date of September 13th, 1989. So I would have been very young when this came out. Anyway, we are here, though, to talk about this episode. And man, Dex, do I have some buckle up your sit-downs, buddy. I got some problems with this episode.
I got some problems. I got some good things. We got some weird things. We got some more predicting the future on this one.
So. We got predicting the future, really? I don't know if I caught that. Okay, You're going to have to point it out to me when we get to it. But yeah, I'm excited for this one, man. So let's just dive right into it, right? We're a little bit on time crunch. I also have contractors in the background. I don't know if the mic's going to pick it up. If you hear some noise, listeners, that's what it is. Not much I can do because I have to keep the door open to make sure that I can hear my child. Responsible parenting and whatnot. But we're going to dive into this episode 7. The episode begins in the live action segment called Bats in the Basement with, I love this. It's a silhouette of Mario and Luigi's boots, like in the window, stomping.
Puppet legs.
And it's puppet legs. Yeah. I was so charmed by this. I was like, what? Why did you bother with this? But at the same time, I'm so happy they did. It's so dumb and so silly. And I don't know why I'm putting so much attention into it, but I kind of loved it. I found it bizarrely charming.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely a creative choice that is one of those things where it just adds to the charm of the show, where like we can have someone walk by. No, let's cut out the shape of legs
and boots,
glue them to some popsicle sticks, and shake them in front of the camera.
And they're wearing cleats. Like, those aren't just boots; those are cleats. There's cleats on those boots.
Yeah, they're very cartoonish.
Yeah. Then the camera continues to pan over, and you see them going. You see like the steps, the very cartoony steps, like getting stepped on or whatever, like
You could tell
expanding
it's
out.
foam as an adult, but as a kid, you'd be like, "Wow, they're
Yeah,
squishing down
yeah,
those
it
stairs."
very much. Yeah, it's foam that someone's just pressing down on. And it's funny. So when they open the door, you can see a picture in the background. Right, there's a picture frame on the wall. I can't see what it is. I'm not here to speculate that, but it just got me thinking of like the history of sitcoms and like the decoration behind the doors to the out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
when if you think of like the Fresh Prince, right? When you have like the living room set, there was that hallway that would lead out to the front door, the foyer, and they always have like stuff that you can only see for like maybe a split second before it cuts over to a different angle or whatever. And it just got me thinking about that, where it's like, I wonder if anyone has dug into like the set decorations for those areas of like sitcom sets, right? Just like what did they put back there, and how far back is their actual decorations? Because the
just
camera can
beyond
only
the
see so
void,
far.
at the edge of the void.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I know that's a super random thought, but it got me thinking, and it just kind of made me curious. Like, what other stuff is like there, right? I understand this is not necessarily a sitcom. There's definitely a laugh track over top of this. There was not a live studio audience, though. I
yeah.
kind of would have loved if there was.
Just beyond where the camera can see is actually what attaches to another sitcom hallway door.
Yeah, right. But anyway, so Mario and Luigi come in and they're talking about being excited for a foreign exchange student and who's visiting, who's going to be staying with them. And Mario goes, and look, he's a bright kid. And Luigi goes, how do you know that? He's like, where he sent his luggage ahead of time. And
From
this leads
Transylvania.
from Transylvania. This leads me to my first problem, Dexter. This leads me to my first problem. One, both Mario and Luigi are just carrying plungers around. With not that they came from a job. Well, maybe they did actually. We don't
Yeah,
know where they
they
came from.
mentioned that they're like, oh, we did that job so well. We're such good plumbers.
Did they actually? Okay, I totally missed that. Well,
Yeah.
here's the weird thing though. They come in and Mario tells them that they already sent, he sent his luggage ahead, so his luggage is waiting for them. It's a coffin, right? And so you're already getting the hint that it's going to be a vampire, right?
Mhm.
There's a note on the coffin that Danny Wells reads, and it says, "Hey, Mario and Luigi, open this up as soon as you get this. It's hot. It's like stuffy in here, or whatever he says, right?"
Right.
Mario told Luigi that it had arrived before he woke up, which means Mario would have theoretically seen that note and just went, nah, and just left him in the coffin for however long they were out on their job.
That is true. But I mean, like that checks out for this Mario.
I, I, I was just thinking about this. I'm like, why did it take Luigi actually reading this for them to open this up? Like, this dude is just suffocated. I mean, he's a vampire, but still, they didn't know that at the time. As far as they know, the exchange student asked them to open the coffin right away, and Mario just fucking left it there. He's like, I don't care about that. But then it continues with them trying to open it. And did you hear like Daddy Wells' performance with this scene?
Oh my gosh, I made a note while they were trying to open it. I wrote down this, like they sound so much like the Superstar Saga, Mario Luigi. Like if you did not understand English and you just watched that scene, it's like like they do in the Mario Superstar Saga, like
Yeah,
Mario
yeah,
and Luigi
yeah.
games. But yes, Danny well, both of them were on point. They were on fire
Well,
for
like
this
Danny
scene.
Wells is going around like, I got it, I don't got it. I got it, I don't got it. And he keeps circling around the coffin until he gets to the side that actually opens.
And he's like, I hate these childproof lids.
And I, my next favorite moment though, I was laughing so hard. They see the coffin, and when they open it up they see him in there, and Luigi goes, did you order a dead guy in a tuxedo? Oh, no, not me, says Mario. And the guy gets up and says like, basically just like, wow, this place is a dump, and he's like, wake me up when at nighttime, I'm a night owl or something like that, right? And
Right.
it's the vampire played by, we'll get into who he's played by actually in just a moment, like a little bit more about him, but it's played by Jim Ward. And that is a very special actor to me for a reason that I'll get into in just a moment. But after the vampire lays back down and it goes back to rest, Luigi goes, Mario, I don't know about this guy. Forget about this guy. I'm not quite sure about him. And Mario's response is like, what's so strange about sleeping in your clothes?
That was what he took away from it. That was such a good line.
But it's also that he goes, what's so strange about sleeping in your clothes?
That's the one detail he focuses on. So good.
It's also the what thing that like gets me. Like he's like really exasperated by this.
Yeah.
What's so strange about sleeping in your clothes? It's not dawning on him. So the actor who's playing the vampire though is an actor named Jim Ward, and Jim Ward is a voice actor who is now retired. Unfortunately, he's not old though. Like Jim Ward is 65, so like he could very much still be acting, but the reason why he unfortunately no longer is that he is suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's.
That's too bad.
And so, yeah, it's really heartbreaking. But he did have 2 voice credits in, like last year. He did Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road, but it's just credited on IMDb as voice. And same thing in The Thing Remastered, also credited as just voice. Now I'm assuming though he did voices for Elder Scrolls Online like years prior, and they're just reusing it.
Right.
And also, The Thing Remastered is a remastered game, so I would also not be surprised if he had his voice in the original game and they just reused it as well for that. I'm going to see if I can find it. Yeah, he did the original Thing video game back in 2002 as well. So, but my favorite role that he has is he plays Captain Quark in the Ratchet and Clank series. That for those who know, if you see my Blue Sky account and what I talk about on there, sometimes I don't really talk about much on the account, but it's in my bio. I fucking love Ratchet and Clank. It is my favorite video game series, and it's not even close. And Captain Quark is one of my favorite goofy, silly characters that I love it. I love him so much. And so hearing that he can no longer be Captain Quark is just really heartbreaking. I think his last role was for like a new thing. There was a Ratchet and Clank Life of Pi short from 2021. And that's the last credit that I see that's like relatively like it's not a reused type of thing.
Right.
And it's heartbreaking, man, because I really loved his performance in that. He was also in the Spider-Man movie. He was the project coordinator.
Yes,
in that movie.
I was gonna say, because I was like project coordinator, and I looked it up, and he's one of the people that gets scorched by the Green Goblin in that first movie when the Green Goblin first reveals himself, and there's like the general who's like, "We're gonna take it back to formula." To formula, and they're all together, all of the people who forced Norman Osborn's hand, and he throws one of his pumpkin bombs and Jim was one of the folks taken out by Green Goblin in that scene.
Poor Jimmy, taken out by a Green Goblin.
But I want to say he did some voice work for Spider-Man in something or other at some point as well, so I don't know if that was, or if he had a connection with Sam Raimi or something, but
I don't know. Actually, I'd be curious. I'd have to look at more of his credits. I mean, he's done like other superhero voiceover work, but that's not necessarily like specifically Sam Raimi. Credit,
Professor X in a few things like Wolverine and the X-Men and some video games, but
he was Cocoon Inhabitants in Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, most of his credits are very much like additional voices and stuff, but he's got like a great like news anchor narrator type voice.
Hello, kind of voice. Like I can't do a voice, but you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Like yeah, he definitely does. It's just frustrating. It's just a bummer, man. I shouldn't say frustrating. I feel for him. I really do. And it's just I feel for his family, and just thinking of them. I'm going to leave it at that. But so that's the end of the live action segment. that's the end. Well, the end of the first half of the live action segment. Obviously, there's a button at the end of the episode, and it switches over to the Mario and the Beanstalk, the animated segment, and we'll get this all out of the way up top as we do with all the animated segments. We're going to talk about the different things we've been tracking, Dex. You know, for those who are new to the show, we keep track of which plumber's log number that Mario says at the beginning of each animated segment, which how many Bowser insults or Koopa insults to the Mario brothers there are, Mario's bizarre food cravings, because we noticed in the first episode he craved a pepperoni cheesecake and it just kind of went from there. And then the second episode he craved ravioli smothered in honey. And I'm gonna be honest, man, I've been kind of disappointed that it's gotten more and more normal, with the exception, episode 5 he brought back pepperoni cheesecake and he also suggested a fettuccine sundae. But in this episode there was none. There was no food cravings that we could hear. And then there's also Luigi's excuses, which is also kind of gone down the drain, pun kind of intended. Where it's like, the first episode he's like, I can't, I'm allergic to mountains. The second episode, I can't, I'm gonna have a baby. And then there's not, you leap, I'll look. There was another one, but this one really the excuse was that they're going to like jump or something, and Luigi goes, you first, you're older. And it's fine, it's there. It technically is an excuse. It's just not fun, though. He does have some good exclamations. Of you had one too, Dex. So I'll throw it over to you for yours. But the one I listened to the one I found was Strobin Stromboli.
It's a mountain of money. Yeah, and the one I got was Leaping Lasagnas. This room is bigger than the Brooklyn Public Library.
I love it so much. And the only Koopa insult in this one was basin brains, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I'm genuinely impressed by the variety. Like I'm curious how many individual ones. So far we have pinhead plumbers, super plumber, scum scrubbers. That's 3. Impudent little faucet fixer. That's 4. Pasta eating plumber, sewer scrubbing flubbing losers. That's 6. Lasagna loving losers. That's 7. Pepperoni plumber 8, macaroni mouth 9, faucet face 10, pasta brain plumbers 11. Like the first 2 episodes are just filled with it. Pipsqueak plumbers, pesky plumbers, drain drips, Buditsky buddies, linguini lips, Drano brains, pipe squeaks. Buditsky buddies made a comeback. Pinhead plumbers, that's a new one. Pinhead plumbers, faucet freak, mud and head Mario, pesky pipe pushers, wrench monkey, sewer scum, faucet freaks again, which, well, it's plural, but still, clog heads, wrench heads, and we're up to basin brains. So, but when the end of this series, we have over 60 episodes still, but there's 68 episodes that I see on my playlist. So we're getting close to the 60 left mark.
Man,
I know but when we come to the end of it, we'll have to get like a full list, and then we can release it on the internet. Like this is every single insult.
Yeah,
Koopa says to Mario.
One of those. I mean, that's what's hot on the YouTubes right now. We'll have to make a tiered list of all of.
I mean, dude, there's like 20 already.
S tier faucet freaks. We're gonna put that up top.
Oh my gosh. So the episode begins, the animated segment though begins. It's plumber's log 442, and you find out that, man, we can't get away from orphan mushrooms, Dexter.
Is this 2 in a row, or
this is the Mushroom Kingdom Orphanage. I misheard it originally as the Mushroom Orphanage. So it's not necessarily an orphanage specifically for orphan mushrooms, like we saw in the last episode where there was that dinner benefit for orphan mushrooms. But this is the Mushroom Kingdom Orphanage, and apparently they need 100 gold coins in order to keep it open. So that leads me to a handful of different questions, Dexter. Okay, before I rant, what are your thoughts on this intro? I've been talking a whole bunch. I want to throw it over to you. What are your thoughts on this intro before I rant about what I'm upset about?
100 coins is a free life, first of all. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I was like, wait a second. She's a princess. Why does she not have 100 coins? Also, it's not hard to gather 100 coins in the Mario games.
Mm-hmm.
So, but understanding the economic side of the Mushroom Kingdom, I'm not going to try to.
It's a fool's errand.
Yeah, I'm not going
And
to try
I'm
to
going to be a
untangle
fool,
that.
Dexter. You just wait.
But the other thing that I thought of with this, I guess, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but like there were already like beanstalks in Super Mario, like the first one, and even in the
That's
second
right.
one.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I get the conceit that we're like redoing the story, we're retelling the Jack and the Beanstalk story, but I thought it was an interesting choice to take such a convoluted route, like to do the same story when we have built-in beanstalks in the game.
That's very true. We have built-in beanstalks. That was my high school band's name.
Built-in beanstalks.
Oh my gosh. So the thing here, Dex, though, besides built-in beanstalks, that my issue with this, I have a handful of issues with this opening. One, there are no children at this orphanage, so why do they need the money? Or did they have to send them all home and that's why they have it? There's no children. You don't even see them in the background. There's nothing. It's just an empty house with Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach.
Yeah, and they were implying that she lives
Toadstool,
there.
excuse me.
They were implying that she lives there, but we know she lives in the castle, so like it was a little confusing.
Now, she rules the Mushroom Kingdom, right?
Right.
Princess Toadstool rules the Mushroom Kingdom. So who do they need to pay the 100 gold coins to? Who are they indebted to?
Right.
Theoretically, it would be taxes of some sort.
Right, which she has control over
she has control over, yes. Or did she have to take out a loan to build the orphanage? Which also doesn't make sense because she runs the fucking kingdom. She could have just used mushroom payer money and built the orphanage.
I think dealing Delbert has something to do with this.
Dealing Delbert. we'll get to him. But then she goes, we need ideas. What if I hawked my jewelry? You already hawked them. What if I mortgaged the house? But you own a kingdom. You rule a kingdom. You rule it. There's no reason that you need any of this. It just all seems unnecessary. What do you mean that you owe 100 gold coins to who? Who in the right mind actually would I don't get it. I genuinely just don't understand
where the money is going.
Follow the money, Dexter. It should theoretically lead back to fucking Toadstool, but it's not leading back to anybody, and I don't understand. So I thought that was weird. She tries to mortgage house. They end up, of course, it's a Jack and the Beanstalk story, so they end up trying to sell the cow.
The royal cow.
The royal cow. He's got a little crown on his head. And Dexter, you already brought him up. Why don't you talk about this next scene where the Mario and Luigi go to sell the cow, and Toad is like, well, I'm an expert in the used cow market.
Yes. The two things leading up to this, the show predicted the future. The royal cow is the one that everybody loves in the new Mario Kart world coming to Switch 2 that can drive a motorcycle.
Oh, yes. Super Show did it first.
Yep. It's the same cow. I'm going ahead and making that canon.
That's canon now.
Yeah, that's the royal cow. Also, before they leave to sell the royal cow, Mario says, "Let's go see what this Guernsey will earn-y." And I was like, what? What did he say? And so today I learned that Guernsey is a breed of cow, which I did not know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either. I learned something new as well.
So maybe he is an expert. He knew what a Guernsey was. But
I mean, unless Guernsey was like something common that people knew about in the 80s.
that's true. That's
I
true.
don't know.
So they go to Cow World. I actually think is what the sign says, or something like that. At the where they are going to sell the royal cow, and it looks like a used car lot. Like that's the whole pastiche that's going on here. And they meet Dealing Delbert, who is this. He's got the same kind of physique as Mario and Luigi. This kind of squat guy who's trying. He's like, no, 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 I'm not gonna buy your cow. You want to trade your cow? And Mario's like, no, no, we're trying to get coins. We're not worried about getting another cow. And he's like, no, 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 you're not gonna get nothing for that cow. Let me trade it in. And he's like talking about these other cows as if they are vehicles. Like he's talking about the things that they're able to do as if they are traits of a vehicle. And finally, Mario and Luigi explain, like, no, no, we're absolutely not trading. And he's like, okay, fine, I got this great deal for you. And of course, with this whole setup that it's the beans, the garbanzo beans.
Garbanzo beans. We're going to be swimming in garbanzos. He doesn't say that. That was me, but still, it made me laugh.
And I was wondering how they were going to write around this, and I thought that they did a pretty decent job because the Jack and the Beanstalk stories, the mom's like, I can't believe you sold the cow for these beans, and she just throws them out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, Toad gets upset about it, and Princess Peach is upset about it, but instead of like throwing them out the window, like in the story, she's like, I'm allergic to garbanzo beans, and sneezes them out of their hands and into the ground to grow overnight. And so the next morning, she's like, Toad, go fix this. Go talk to Dealing Delbert.
Hold on. That's not just what she said. Did you hear her exact phrasing of it?
No.
She said something to the effect of, just go talk to that used cow dealer and just tell him we just can't be cheated out of money right now.
I wish that's how it worked.
We just can't be cheated right now. Like that's just how you got to explain it to him. We can't be cheated right now.
Maybe next week, but not right now. Yeah, and so when Toad goes out, he's like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of this." And he sees the giant beanstalk that grew overnight. And Toadstool comes. He's like, "Come out here and look at this." And she comes out and says a line. I'm trying to remember what the line is, but then it cuts to like a gasping sound, and it was clearly recorded at a different time. Like it sounds so weird how she's like, "What are you talking about?" And then it goes to, "Oh!" Like for some reason, I laughed and had to watch that like 2 or 3 times. That strange sound effect of her seeing the beanstalk just was too funny for me.
Maybe I'll have to cut that in for the edit with this. We'll see. So they see the beanstalk, and Mario assures Princess Toadstool that this is the answer to our prayers. This will solve all our problems. She's like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean?" And he goes, "There's millions of garbanzo lovers in the world. We'll just go pick a whole bunch and sell it to them." I've never had a garbanzo bean. Maybe that's sacrilegious.
I don't know. It's a great name though, garbanzo. I like saying it.
Garbanzo. Is garbanzo even like an Italian bean?
I don't. It sounds like it would be.
Right. Like I don't know. Hold on. Garbanzo. It's a type of chickpea.
Garbanzo lasagna.
Yeah, they're basically, it's just a type of chickpea. It's just chickpeas. Okay, I've had chickpeas.
So we can have garbanzo hummus.
It's essential. Okay, it's essential for Middle Eastern, Mexican, and European cooking. I was about to say, I don't see Italian on there, but a European. There we go. Okay, so they do start climbing up the beanstalk. This weird purple beanstalk, and they're picking garbanzos, but they don't pick garbanzos yet. They climb up to the top, and then they see like there's a door, and it's just pretty much like a hatch that goes into this giant house. And of course, inside is Koopa in this giant house. That's not surprising in the slightest. Uh,
I actually
I
was not expecting that.
really,
Yeah, because they had the weird gladiator guy in the last episode. I assumed they would have made up a character for the giant because I needed a backstory on how Koopa got up there and how he turned into a giant.
the only thing they describe is that it's like magic, because you find out later on that Koopa casts magic on the bird. Now, but I have to talk about something though again, Dexter. Once again, something I'm getting upset. Not really upset, but when the hatch closes on them and they try to open it up by like lifting the latch or whatever, lifting like the little circle thing,
Right.
Mario, Toadstool, and Luigi are all standing on the side. Actually, you know what? This might be even a great like thumbnail. I'm gonna send you a I guess I would have to take a picture of it on my phone and send it to you. But it's them trying to lift it up, even though they're not tall enough. They're not going to be tall enough to lift the whole thing. Stupid motherfucker Toad, though, is standing on the door while lifting the circle.
So they'd have to lift the weight of the door
Lifting
and Toad.
exactly. So he's not doing anything. He's not helping in the slightest. He's just there. He's just there. That's what Toad's there for. And I just sent you the picture now. Once it actually goes through, but it just also Luigi's expression is really freaking funny to me. It looks like he's just about to like pass out. Either that, or it looks like it's like praise Jesus or something like that. But anyway, so Koopa shows up and does a whole bunch of like rhymes, like fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the Mario Brothers, or he does rhyme. It actually rhymes.
Yeah.
I know mine did not.
Fum fee fi fo. I smell the brothers Mario.
That's what it's fum, fee, fi, fo, I smell the Brothers Mario. And then I think he goes later on, fum, fee, fi, foo, I'm going to cook you into a stew.
Yes. Yep.
Is a later one. But what I love about this is Koopa never looks at them directly. Did you notice that?
No.
Like, okay, so I'm at 9 minutes and 46 seconds on the Mario Brothers net channel, their video. If Koopa and the Marios and the Toadstool and Toad are all in the same frame, specifically once again at 9 minutes 49 seconds, 9 minutes 50 seconds, he's not looking at them. He's looking off into the distance. Like it's very weird.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah.
And then he looks at the camera directly. He doesn't actually look at the Mario Brothers. Like later on when he's like stirring the stew, he's not looking at the Mario Brothers. He's looking at you, the audience, the camera.
And stirring menacingly.
And then it's a commercial break. And then also when it comes back, it still doesn't look like he's looking at the Mario Brothers. It looks like he's just staring off into the distance and just menacingly, stirring the stew. And Mario and Luigi and the team try to, they try to get out, and they see a door that opens. They go to get to it, and Bowser just shuts it down with like this metal gate, right? And then they see an open window, and they start to climb around for the window. They climb up a pile of logs and this and that, but you can see on the window there's also another a metal gate. And what's weird is Koopa just watches them do it. And I'm thinking, like,
cut to him watching them.
are you all? And I was mad at Mario and Luigi and Toadstool and Toad just because he's going to close it on you the moment you get close. Like, he's watching you do it. He's just watching, not doing anything else. Like, what? Why even bother trying at that point?
Yes, I'd like to point out that Luigi did some sick back handsprings up the logs too.
He did. He did. You are right. You are very right. They try to climb up, I think using like a fire poker type of thing or something like that.
I think that's what it was supposed to be. It almost looks like a crowbar.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, I think it's supposed to be a poker for the fire.
And they Toadstool and Toad are trying to climb up, and Bowser Koopa, closes the window once again. They eventually end up in the same room as the goose that laid the golden egg. In this instance, it's a golden coin. But to get there, Toadstool and Toad do get captured by Koopa in its grasp, and Mario and Luigi get used on like I guess it's like the flu,
The bellows. Yeah.
what is it called?
They're called bellows. Like the little.
Bellows, that's what it is.
Yep.
Jump up and down on the bellows and causes all the soot to go
ash.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's enough of a distraction for them to run. They go inside the goose with the golden eggs like room. And this poor goose, man, why don't you talk about this poor goose, Dex?
This goose is farting money, guys.
I usually use a tag like an audio clip from the episode. I kind of want to use that of just this goose is farting money, guys.
Go for it.
No, I'm still going to use the episode thing, but still, I maybe I'll clip that some other way. This goose is farting money.
This is when we get the Strobe and Stromboli. It's a mountain of money. And instead of getting the Mario Brothers, Koopa just locks them in there, and he's like, you're going to die because you're going to get buried in this money.
You're going to get crushed to death by gold money.
And we get this poor goose making these very uncomfortable faces as he's farting money. Like the coins just bling, 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 bling come out of the cage. There's like a hole at the bottom of the cage purposely for all the little coins to come out. And it looks more like a duck than
it does.
A goose,
you're right.
But who am I? But yeah, they free that Mario just goes up and bends the bars like Superman, lets the goose out. And the goose explains that he's a normal goose, but Koopa put a spell on him to allow them to lay coins instead of eggs. So,
and that's where all the golden coins are coming from. And the goose, they let the goose out. The goose tells them like, oh, you know, like the vine grew up through this hole right here. You can use that to get out. And so they dig through the coins, they get through the hole, and they start going down. And then there are tiny little bugs. They call it something weird. It's like,
yes, they're hoopsters.
What is it?
Hoopsters.
Is that an actual enemy from the games?
Yes, Mario Brothers 2. They climb up and down vines, which is the built-in beanstalks that we talked about.
Man, I like Mario Brothers 2. I have not played like barely at all, and I don't know the enemy types at all and they use a lot of them in the show because that was the point of reference when this was being made. And
the only thing that, I mean, it's not your fault. The only thing they really use, I feel like, from Mario 2 in the modern games is Shy Guys. Like, really. Yeah. The other thing that we get from Mario Brothers 2 that a lot of people don't realize is like some of the characterization of the main characters, with Luigi kind of jumping with his fluttery kicks and Peach or Toadstool floating with the floaty jumps and stuff like that. Like that comes from Mario 2, but other than that, it isn't as referenced, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. And they throw garbanzo beans at the hoopsters to stop them. And it stops them. It works. They climb the rest of the way down. Mario gets an axe out of what I think they even said, like, let's get it out of our plumber's bag. And he just gets out an axe.
I would be worried if I hired a plumber and he pulled out an axe.
I would too, man. Are you kidding me? That'd be terrifying. They cut down the tree, the beanstalk. The castle falls into like a lake, but not before all of a sudden like coins with projectile velocity, like, you know, like that's not the word I'm looking for, but like whatever that what's that proper terminology when you hit terminal velocity? Thank you.
Yes,
there we go. The coins with like terminal velocity jettison out the side, like with so much power it breaks through stone wall. It falls into the water, and that apparently rids Bowser of the magic, and he's no longer big, and he's like, just wait, you'll see, I'll get you back, and he just sprints away. And they say they're hungry, and this is what I was so hopeful. Dex, Mario says he's hungry. I'm like, oh, we're gonna get a food craving, and we don't get one. It's just the goose laying a golden egg, and it's once again, I shouldn't say once again. I didn't bring this up. This goose makes me so uncomfortable because you essentially are watching it attempt to shit for like conservatively like 5 minutes over the course of this episode.
It's farting coins.
You're just watching a goose attempting to shit out coins or golden eggs or whatnot. And that's how the animated segment ends. It's just they get a couple it poops out a couple golden eggs, and that is the end of the animation segment. And we cut back to good old Louis Albano. That didn't work. You know what I'm saying. Lou Albano and Danny Wells as Mario and Luigi, and it's a live action segment again. And I love Lou's just eating like random stuff, and Danny keeps saying like that Zoltan guy told me he's been going to night school for over 300 years. And Mario goes, so what? So I forget who. Do you remember who he said went to night school for that long too?
Oh my gosh, I didn't write it down because it was a long, like stereotypical, like Italian sounding name, but it was like the barber, someone from the salon, barber. What was it? Baba Pasquale Caputo.
So is that what it is? Baba Pasquale Caputo?
He's been going to high school almost as long as that. What's the big deal?
I love the closed caption that's like automated as Baba Pasquale Caputo. And then Luigi says, like, by the way, Mario, do you know who this guy's dry cleaner is? And he goes, why? Like, remind me never to go there. And you see like blood all over the white shirt.
That stuck out to me. I was like, oh, in a kid's show, we're just gonna have a blood-stained shirt.
Also, did you catch what they were talking about how much Zoltan the vampire likes to sleep? Because for those who aren't aware, they don't realize, like Mario and Luigi do not realize that Zoltan is a vampire, so they have no idea, right? And which is crazy, but anyway, we move on, we soldier on, and they they don't realize that he's a vampire, and he just says he sleeps a lot, and. Or no, what? Oh, fuck. What was it? He does sleep all day, and then Luigi says, "So do you, unless there's an Inspector Gadget marathon on." So now we know Mario likes Inspector Gadget. This is canon, Dex.
Which I think both of these are Deke cartoons, aren't they? Or am I making that
up? I think
up?
so. Yeah, I think Inspector Gadget was Deke.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's a reason why. They were just giving a little plug to another fellow cartoon.
Deke.
Yeah.
But they do realize that, Luigi is seeing like, look at all these bills, $300 to a blood bank and all this other stuff. And they realize that he's a vampire because in that moment you see a bat silhouette, a puppet bat silhouette flying in the same spot that the Mario's boots were at the beginning of the episode.
And he's singing, "Here comes the sun." Doo, 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 doo.
Is he singing that? I missed that entirely.
Yeah.
He's singing "Here Comes the Sun"?
Yes.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, that's so funny. I had no idea. That's great. That's genuinely, like, I'm so happy about that. That's so silly. But yeah, so then they... realize he's a vampire there, and Luigi's like holding Mario's chin.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up the show, because there's only like one more scene left, is there anything that I kind of glazed over you want to jump into with this, whether it's the animated segment or anything with the live action?
I don't think so. No, we've been hitting it pretty straightforward here.
So I've been talking a whole bunch, Dexter. Once again, I'll throw it back over to you to like kind of go through this final thing. Like Jim, the last thing I will say is that Jim Ward does the check out the next scenes from the Adventures of Zelda, the Legend of Zelda. Excuse me, the next thrilling scenes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So then you see the Zelda clip, and the teaser for the Zelda episode that would have been out later on that week. And then it cuts back. So what happens to wrap up this live action segment, Dex?
Well, now we get Mario and Luigi sitting together on the couch. We've got this nice shot looking up at them so we can see the book that they're reading, How to Get Rid of a Vampire.
Yes.
And they're reading these different options. And I know Luigi says, like, drive a stake into it. And Mario's like, are you crazy? Steak is $4.59 a pound. And I thought that was a funny little steak joke there. And then there's garlic and stuff in Luigi that he's reading, but it's also like just a full-on recipe. And Mario points out, like, that's Mama's recipe for spaghetti sauce.
That's a lot of spaghetti.
And they read off some more, but that's when Jim Ward kind of sneaks up behind them. You think he's going to attack, and he's like, if you want to get rid of a vampire, you could just ask me.
Yeah. Do you want to know how to get rid of a vampire? Just ask. I'll leave. Goes,
I'll leave as quick as a bat or something like that.
Quick as a bat. And then they go, where does that say that in the book?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much how the episode ends. Like they say, do the Mario, and you see Jim Ward doing an awkward, holding up his cape and doing an awkward Mario dance, or doing an awkward, like, side to side, as they are wont to do with all these. And that is how the episode ends. So that's it. So Dexter, I want to hear your final thoughts. Like, what did you think of this episode?
I thought it went together like vampires and beanstalks.
Surprisingly well, apparently.
For once, the live action felt like it made more sense to me than the animated part.
Yes. Yeah,
which that's
absolutely.
not usually the case.
No. Almost never, in fact.
But no, this one was a lot of fun. Although, very straightforward. I felt like there were some missed opportunities with Mario and the Beanstalk because, like I said, the Koopa was the giant, which, in hindsight makes a lot of sense. But at the time I was like, wait, how did he get up there? Why is he big? Why is nobody questioning this? Everyone's just like, oh, Koopa. Like, not like, oh my gosh, he's a giant and he's been living up here and has amassed a mountain of coins from.
It's funny. I didn't even really think about the logistics of that. Like, yeah, why was he living up there the whole time? The logic being is that, like, the Beanstalk just happens to run into it. So, like, Koopa was just up there, just living out his best life, ignoring everything, like, just getting a whole bunch of, I guess, like, maybe his plan was, like, I'll go up there with my magic, get this golden goose with my magic, and get a whole bunch of coins so I can buy the Mushroom Kingdom for myself. Right. Until the Beanstalk just happened to grow into that because they got those garbanzo beans and it grew.
The alternative is that he just spotted the Beanstalk before them, went up, started using magic to grow, built a castle. All of these things just happened overnight is the alternative. Because, like, at the end he's like, oh, I shrunk again.
Yep.
Like, okay, so you did grow, you did something to grow. Like, is it just because it was magic at the top of the beanstalk? And if so, why didn't it affect Mario? I started thinking way too much about this. More than I care to admit, but I learned. Well,
remember, it's his magic, though. So if he chooses to use the magic, then he chooses to use it. But if he doesn't, then he didn't use the magic on Mario. It's simple as that.
This is true. But I learned that a Guernsey is a type of cow, and that Mario did the cow for Mario Kart first in this. So
and overall, meanwhile, I spent an inordinate amount of time thinking about the tax system of the Mushroom Kingdom, trying to understand why Princess Toadstool owes money.
Yeah, who does she owe? Like, that's the real, like, super villain. Like, who does she owe money to? That's going to shut down this orphanage?
Who's got this dirt on Princess Toadstool that she has to, and they're making her sell an orphanage?
Yeah.
Exactly. Or actually, maybe that's more damning of her, where it's like, her first way to cut costs was like, I'm going to sell this orphanage.
Yeah. Exactly.
She's the Doge of the Mushroom Kingdom. That's dark. But yeah, so yeah, I'm with you though. I like this episode a decent amount. It made me laugh, just like honestly, the thing that made me laugh, the very first thing that made me laugh was when she goes, "Should I hawk my jewelry?" And Mario goes, "You already hawked them." And just the delivery of it was just so silly. I don't like. There's a handful of things that I want to use as the audio clip for the intro. Is it going to be the hawk them thing? Is it going to be what's so weird about sleeping in your clothes or whatever? There's just so many things I could choose. There's a lot to love about this episode. I really enjoyed this. Once again, the Mario Super Show has a place in my heart for its zaniness, and I'm so happy we're going through all of this. But that is all the time we got for this one, y'all. That's all we got on this episode. Dexter, man, thank you once again for joining me. As always, I always appreciate having you on. And it looks like, because we have to edit a chunk out due to some technical issues, this might actually be under an hour again. So that's crazy. We're actually keeping the mini show moniker to its name, as opposed to what it has been historically, where it's just anything but.
Yes, definitely not Koopa giant sized.
No, not in the slightest. So next, as per usual, where can the good people find you online, and what would you like to promote?
Well, lately I've been like off the grid, but I should be
Yeah.
slowly creeping my way back on. You can find me on most of the social media outlets out there. You can just search my name, DexterMorrill. I'll be on there sharing video game history stuff, artwork, all that fun stuff, and that's where you can find me.
All right. As per usual for myself, you can follow me on Blue Sky at Still Loading Podcast over there. I did recently switch up my account. So instead of at stillloadingpod.bsky.social, it's just at stillloadingpodcast.com, which the next episode after this was recorded months ago. So it's going to be say something completely different. But yeah, anyway, that's the magic of podcasting, folks. So yeah, you can follow me on Blue Sky at stillloadingpodcast.com over there. You can also follow me on Instagram at StillLoadingPod and on Twitch at StillLoadingPod. And I usually stream a couple times a week, though lately it's been a little bit less because I've been enjoying just kind of playing games not on, not having to be on. Just enjoy playing games off mic, I guess, off stream. But yeah. So, but you can follow me at all those locations. I am active on all those. If you want to support the show, you can do so in a number of ways. You can give it a 5-star rating or review on whichever podcasting app you use. It does help more people find the show, and it pleases the algorithm gods, and it makes me feel warm and fuzzy. And I like feeling warm and fuzzy. You can also support the show by going to Patreon, patreon.com/stillloadingpod. For as little as $1 a month, you get all the episodes a little bit earlier with better audio quality, along with patron voting rights, which next week's episode is on Infamous with my buddy Bill from the Gaming Collecting Podcast. That was a patron chosen topic. If you would also like to vote on future games that I cover on the show, you can do so for only $1 a month over on Patreon. For $3 a month, you get everything I mentioned at the $1 tier plus patron shoutouts, which you heard at the beginning of this episode. For $4 a month, you get all of that plus 2 mini bonus episodes every month. And for $5 a month, you get everything in the previous years, plus my monthly movie podcast, which the name of it changes depending on whatever I'm covering. But right now, the time this episode's being recorded and released, it is Still Family, my monthly Fast and Furious movie podcast, where all the guests who join me aren't just friends, they're family. So if you would like to support me over there, there's a lot of content for you for all different levels, from $1 to $5. There's lots of good stuff over there. Patreon.com/stillloadingpod. But that's it. That is all the time I have for you on this episode of Still Loading. Thank you all so much for listening. Dex, thank you once again for joining me.
Of course.
And with all that said, listeners, do the Mario.